I've recently been to Korea for 3 whole weeks. And since that day, I got a lot of question of like, hey, how long should I stay in a country and where should I go? Is Seoul enough or should I go to Busan or what else? Like, do you have some useful tips? And I felt like, yeah, why not? Let's talk about it. Let's face it. And obviously, a disclaimer here, this is not a perfect travel guide because I went for the very first time to Korea. And typical me, I did not do any planning in advance. So I figured out stuff along the way and a lot of things went wrong. And so here today, I just want to share some tips and tricks, and I hope you can use them so you do not have the same struggles as I do. So, as I said, let's start from the beginning. I went to Korea for 3 weeks. And I personally think, as a first timer, 2 weeks are actually enough. Maybe 3 weeks if you prefer to travel a bit slower. But I don't know. I think 2 weeks is actually very good to have like a first good impression. And my route actually was like arriving in Seoul and going straight ahead to Sokcho, being in the national parks, then go along the east coast to Busan, then Suncheon, Iksan, Jeonju, and last, Seoul. And probably I pronounced all the cities wrong. I'm really sorry for that. My Korean is not there. I don't have Korean. But yeah, what should I say? So the first tip I want to share with you is actually a no-brainer. You probably know it and you think, Mel, really? Seriously? This is so obvious. But yeah, I made the mistakes. And the mistake number one is not having cash with you. Even though Korea is very friendly when it comes to cards, you can pay a lot with, credit cards or other online methods. But what should I say? It happened that I have 2 credit cards, right? And both credit cards got declined. So I literally went from one ATM to another ATM and I could not pick up cash. So I was forced to only use my credit cards. And I had some occasions and they were very, very awkward, like literally, that I couldn't pay. So I got a service. And then I realized that my credit card is not working in this shop, but it worked in 5 others before, but in this one it got declined. And yeah, this is a very, very awkward situation, not gonna lie. And from that moment on, every time when I went to a restaurant or a cafe or an activity, I always ask, hey, can I pay first? I know it's weird. Like, I can remember a lot of restaurants owner were like, okay, you can pay first. But I was so scared that I have to deal with the same problem, like eating, and my credit card is declined. So, always carry a little bit of cash with you. And especially when you're outside of Seoul and Busan, like outside of the big cities, you can pay with credit card usually, but not everywhere. So please just bring a little bit of cash. But be smarter than me. So, yeah. Another thing, which is also kind of a no-brainer, but, I'm a spontaneous person. I do not want to plan ahead, and I do not think about it, but sometimes you should book specific activities or accommodations if you really, really want to go there. And I have actually the perfect example for this. Like, when I was in Busan, I saw these videos about the sky capsule, like the track where you go along the coastline. And I felt like, oh wow, that is so cool. I definitely want to do it. I checked online. It was sold out 2 weeks in advance. And I felt like, yeah, you really have to plan ahead, but that's kind of stupid too, because if the weather is bad and it's raining and cloudy, you don't see the coast, right? And I thought, you can do it spontaneously. You cannot. And the other option is to go there in the very early morning. And I mean, literally 9. So the park opens at 9, and you have to go there at 9 and go to the ticket counter. And there again, like, my credit card got declined when I wanted to do it, like, at the terminal. So I had to go to the actual ticket counter, which was very crowded. A lot of people, and literally it starts at 9 a.m. and when it was my turn in queue, like, I got like the ride at 12 because all the other tickets were already sold out, and I'm like, okay, so 12 it is. So no sunset for me. Yeah, I really wanted to be very romantic and having this experience, coastline and sunset, right? Yeah. So I also like tried it for several days, like within the day, but you really have to go there at 9. And another occasion when it comes to accommodation was actually when I was in Suncheon and I wanted to go to the wetlands. But I could only reserve for one night and everything else was booked out, and I prefer guest houses because hotels are so expensive and you don't have any connection with anyone. And when I went there, they were like, oh yeah, we still have stuff. And like the guest house actually was quite empty, but like online it was sold out. So if you really want to go to a specific place and if there's no availability, ask. It really helps. So just an email, hey, are you really completely sold out? Because I was so surprised and I felt like, yeah, maybe they want to keep some rooms, like for the locals or people who just come by and not everything is online. I really don't know. I had another roomie and she had the same problem. So yeah, and we both really wanted to go to the wetlands. So yeah, we had to extend the stay. And when it came to Jeonju, where I really wanted to go, no accommodation because I didn't book in advance. And let me tell you, I was not traveling within like travel season. It was kind of, I wouldn't say off season, but it was not the peak, all right? And yeah, sometimes like not being spontaneous is the better way. Anyways. And then I had no idea, but when I arrived, I thought like, yeah, I just gotta go to the ticket counter and get my bus ticket, and that's it. Yeah, no. It's actually literally really much more efficient if you get like either a card for your transportation or you download an app. And I did that, so I downloaded T-Money app and I put some cash on it, and every time when you enter the train or the bus, you can just put your phone on like the card reader, and easiest way. And I didn't know that because I felt like, I'm just used from Japan where you get like the Suica card or like it's just so easy. And I felt like, yeah, this will be the same in Korea, but nope. Everyone is basically using their phone, and I would literally recommend you do the same. It's so much easier. And sticking with the topic of useful apps, I can only recommend you download either Naver Map or Kakao Map. Because Google Maps does not work 100% correctly or good. And like, especially when it comes to small streets or like small little shops, these other apps, they're used mostly in Korea. So I had Kakao app, and even for me, it was really easy to navigate through it. And yeah, it's basically like Google Maps, just the Korean version, yes. And yeah, that's for the apps. I really, like, honestly, like, I downloaded every app, like the T-Money app and the Kakao map, on the day I arrived at the hostel and realized, hey, nothing works correctly. Yeah, I'm just a Google Maps person, to be honest, because it's on my phone already. I'm lazy, maybe. Yeah, that's it. And then another tip, especially when you're vegan or vegetarian, And if you're used to convenience stores in Asia, actually, you might be disappointed with the Korean version of convenience stores. I mean, no hate here, but for me, there was only one option, which were like cup ramen with kimchi flavor, because that were the only ramen which were vegan. And at some point, I was a little bit annoyed. I felt like, hey, why can we not eat like these rice dishes with, I mean, like bimbap? I think that's the name. Like, it's like just a, it looks like a sushi roll, but they have like fillings of vegetables, egg, and meat and fish in it, right? You can choose. And I feel like, why can you not do like a vegan version or at least vegetarian? But no, at a convenience store, it really is basically just for the drinks. So don't get your hopes up too high with this. Rather go to a supermarket. And talking about like the longest stay or how long you should stay and what is the best travel time to go to Korea, I would just say everything is better than summer. It's a little bit similar to Japan because summer is just the humidity, the heat, it's really hot. So I went in spring, summerish time, like, yeah, it was spring beginning into summer. It was okay. I was fine. I felt like, oh yeah, I can handle that easily, that's fine, but I don't want to be there in summer, not gonna lie. And as I said, I would be there for 2 weeks if you want to have a first good impression. If you have limited amount of time, 2 weeks are definitely enough to see the main points in Korea. And with that being said, my last tip, and it's really important, don't spend your whole day, or your whole trip, better said, don't spend your whole trip in Seoul or Busan. Just don't. I mean, these cities, they're nice, they're hyped, everyone is going there. The most part of the population is living in these two main cities, but you will miss out a lot. And of course, I'm a nature person, of course I'm saying that, but honestly, for me, Seoul was very underwhelming. I felt like, yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. That's all I can say. And for me, like with my whole journey, again, I went to Sokcho right away from Seoul. I arrived there and took straight ahead, like the bus to Sokcho for nature, national park. Perfect. And then, of course, you can stop on more like places at the East Coast. It's more for the beach vibe. Fine, right? And then after Busan, I just went to Jeonju, which is great for the traditional vibes, and also Suncheon, which has like this nice national park again, just nature parts, and then Iksan is like a little bit more of a vibe, very untouched, I say, but I think this is where you can experience a little bit more of Korea, because if you just spend the whole time in Seoul or Busan, yeah, of course, you will have a great time because you can do a lot of activities. So you can, I don't know, do your skin routine or like getting like a skin analysis, or you can get a haircut, or you can go to fancy amusement parks. Like Busan and Seoul have plenty of stuff what you can do and where you can entertain yourself. You won't get bored, but I personally think you will miss out the actual parts of Korea, which is nature, tradition, people. And maybe this is a unpopular opinion, maybe controversial, but if I'm very honest, my favorite place in Korea was Suncheon and nothing else. Like no Busan, no Seoul, and yeah. So yeah, as I said, these were a few of my tips, actually all of my tips, all the things I had to struggle with being in Korea, because not doing any research while traveling. Yeah, that's me. That's typical me. But, I mean, it worked out fine. And if you have any more tips, let me know in the comments. If you want to know anything about the places I've been to, let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you liked the episode, I would love to see a like or a subscribe. And yeah, see you next week.